You're welcome.
Sorry, I didn't have your correct number of office
Oh, that's okay.
earlier. So
That's not going to get you very far,
not at
but
all. Did you want to respond to go first? Some of the counters that we had.
all right, we do have a response to the committee proposal that will pass across.
Oh, thanks so much.
No, thank you.
So you guys had countered our offer with the district will provide a list of all committees and members and publish on the district website. We're offering a minor, what we think is a minor change. The district will provide a list of committees and members and publish it on the district website. And we're just asking, we know where it's published, to look for somewhere under the labor relations page. And then we've added the list will be updated when a new committee is formed or a current committee is disbanded.
Would you like it published where we do like bargaining updates? We have that-
As long as you guys let us know where on the labor relations page it is, that's fine. Okay, so we're going to TA that piece. This is switcher. Okay. Right. And give me a second, I'll respond to the other language you passed. I could find that. Where did I put that? This. Okay, I've got it. All right. You also passed a proposal dealing with leaving campus after student dismissal, as well as getting rid of our early release days and getting rid of our flex time. So I spoke, you with me?
Yeah, not yet. Flex time. The flex time was with us, I thought.
You at the end of this page right here on the proposal you passed last.
That might be it's a mistake. So because it said early release when I did the contract search.
Oh, so you, yep.
So that is-
Okay, so this does
so
not,
that page is a mistake,
okay,
because that,
Yeah, or-
yeah. that is a mistake.
Okay.
I was dealing with flex time, but when I did a search for early release to make sure
I
it was
understand.
covered in both, so that is a mistake.
Okay, all right, so we are absolutely willing to agree to F, which says once on all campus obligations have been met, parent conferences, faculty meetings, supervision, et cetera, after student dismissal, teachers may continue working at an alternative site. You know, one of the things I spoke about at the school board meeting is I did some research about what our younger employees are looking for, and the degree of flexibility and where and when they're working is really important if we're going to continue to attract a highly qualified teaching force. So we would accept that, but absolutely early release, getting rid of her early release days is a non-starter. You know, we're not looking to have less planning time. We're looking to have more planning time. Early release days are incredibly valuable to our teachers. We've actually recently surveyed our teachers in regards to early release days, and they are extremely popular and needed. I was going to let Mr. Yount here talk from a classroom teacher's perspective about why we need our early release days.
Yeah, thank you guys. Not only do we need early release for team planning that doesn't occur as much as it should on a normal week because the concept of PLCs has been a little bit hijacked, but we also need that to be able to contact parents. We need that to be able to lesson plan for the following week, enter grades, et cetera, do clubs, after school activities that a lot of our teachers are involved in. But I really want to speak more to F. I think F is a wonderful piece of language. I'm sad to see it kind of tied to something that's really not even a connecting issue, in my opinion. Because to me, F should have been in our contract all along. Like F is a professional courtesy. F is a respect and a trust that we're adults doing a professional job, that we're all degree professionals capable of, you know, working our 40-hour week in a place that's not keeping us prisoner to that one, usually the most inefficient place to get work done. A lot of times ends up being our classroom because the internet connectivity is suspect. I can speak for definitely my building has been constantly under construction. It's been, you know, you got teachers out in portables. So a lot of times it's actually more efficient for us to get our work done at home. And that's to go without saying that teachers for hundreds of years have been doing their work outside of the classroom. If I billed the district for every phone call I made outside of hours, if I decided to just make sure that I was only doing my work from the hours of 7:30 to 3:30, I would be, you know, less than half the teacher that I am. And so to me, we should work from an assumption that teachers are working 40 plus hours, whether they're in a building or not, is moot. And to me, this is absolutely free. It costs the district $0 to do this. It would go a long way to establishing what I believe you want, the message you want to send, which is that you believe we're professionals. You believe that we're degreed professionals that deserve professional courtesy and respect of being able to do our job where it most makes sense to do our job. And so I just think it's a trust issue, it's a respect issue. And on the flip side, if we reject language like F, then I feel like then that's a micromanagement and a control issue from a principal or administrative side that serves little to no actual function. So if I'm wrong, I'd love to be shown why I'm wrong. The time, like we absolutely have to have, like Anthony said, it's a non-starter. We have to have additional time to plan, and these are great times to get together with teammates. I think of our PE teachers and our media specialists that maybe don't have a cohort in the building, and these give them opportunities to, if we're using them appropriately, they give them opportunities to meet with other jobs in their region and be able to connect. So we cannot lose short the early day. But I would love to see us move forward with the language on F, just as a sign of professional respect and courtesy.
I hear what you're saying, and I do understand. Our teachers are professionals. All BPS employees are professionals, and especially the ones that are acting professional capacity. Our students are teaching them how to be future leaders and how to be future professionals as well. I think that, you know, the trust is there by allowing F into place. However, it wouldn't be for this contract year or be for the contract year going forward in 24, 25. It would also removal of early release Fridays for the 7th period
builds enough time into the contract where we don't have to have hurricane makeup days.
Yeah, I understand that concern. I just think for most teachers, they'd rather have the guaranteed hour and a half to work on whatever they need to work on for their students, for their week, for their professional, learning, whatever it ends up being, than maybe have it as a bank to maybe absorb a hurricane day. I would like as a teacher and as every teacher I've ever talked to, they need that time built into every week to be able to be the best version of themselves.
Yes. Kim, you mentioned that. One of the grants that education marketing.
That's it. That's awesome.
It is. A
Double,
lot
right?
of our teams work meet on that early release. That's the time that the students can stay after. So if we did take away that early release, that's just way more.
So. One of the concerns, another one of the concerns is our highest absentee rate day is Friday. So the teachers aren't doing your argument of a good service by not being there, right? Like, God forbid it's a payday Friday, then it's 30 plus teachers being absent in the school. We're trying to negate that. When there's 30 teachers missing in a school, no learning is occurring, right? We don't have enough subs probably to cover that. Now I've got 4 classrooms in an auditorium and no learning is occurring. That's what we're trying to negate.
So you
I
might
would
not
push
be
back on that. I would
aware
say
of it.
Friday's probably the most commonly missed day in any work environment.
Sure.
So you would be actually, I think that would actually compound your problem because now you have to cover a class for an extra hour or hour and a half. You're now having to cover even longer. And most sub-plans a lot of sub-plans, I should say, can include like an assessment. I've taught them all week. Now I'm going to assess them on a Friday. And so we're not really losing as much learning time by having that be on a Friday. So that'd be my pushback is I don't think that would
And
solve the
hold on, I
problem.
got to intervene. There already is a mechanism in place in our contract to prevent too many teachers from receiving personal leave. So that should not be an issue. You guys already have it within your authority to limit the amount of teachers taking personal leave.
Enough they can stop taking the same thing.
But that's not related to this proposal. This proposal is about early release.
Yeah, but this proposal is about making sure that I have teachers in the classroom, right? And okay, let me ask you a question. For the 24, 25 school year, if we amend this to say, we'll change it to a Wednesday. Does that meet your need?
Well, we would consider that, but that's not what you've put forth across the table.
Yeah.
And, that was years ago, the district made the decision to cater to a small minority of students who attended Eastern Florida on Fridays to move the early release day. So we would consider that, but that's not what you put forth.
Okay, so you reject as we have it now.
We accept the first part and we reject the second part. And we also believe that this would be for the 23-24 contract. Not the early release part, we are rejecting. But we are accepting this part of the proposal.
We're going to tie those two together.
So if you tie, I just have a question though, because
Well, we'll untie them.
logistically, if you tied these two together, you were very obvious on this one and the one you didn't mean to pass over, that this is for the next contract year. You in fact did not label that here. So, and it frankly, I think speaks to what Mr. Yount was saying, to tie something that would show that, we believe in our employees as professionals to something that would absolutely decimate time that they have to do their jobs. Not if you're taking early release away. If you're taking my early release.
That increases our time with students. It doesn't increase
that have been
bylaws,
constantly under
Yeah.
attack for
all the
decades.
other things that we do in our free personal time, all right.
So you're going to accept the first part, reject the second part, but we're going to pull it back and resubmit it.
Knowing that you're okay with the first part,
Mhm.
we will resubmit both of them to you again with different language. Not changing the first part.
What's the problem with not changing, why wouldn't you,
I'm not gonna, no, that one is not gonna change. That part right there,
why can't we have this now?
because I'm not ready to do that yet.
Well, let me just put it out there. Clearly, you're going to hand back that proposal with Wednesdays. What I want to know is, are you prepared to survey all the staff and community about Wednesdays before we do that? Because we're not going to have the narrative of, well, the union agreed to it, it's BFT's fault. We know that narrative very well. Now, if there was community buy-in to move them to Wednesdays, you know, our teachers still prefer Fridays. There are some reasons why they would prefer Wednesdays, but overall they still do prefer Fridays. But I want to see a wider survey done about that issue before we make a massive change like that.
And again, that, if we do that change, it's not going to be for this school, right? Everybody, please understand that. We're not saying anything changing this school year for that. I can absolutely say that part A, we can do this school year, right? That'll be part of it.
And, you know, if that's the case, we also don't need to slow down negotiations with that. We could always come back and do an MOU. If we find that's what the community's interested in, that's what the teachers are interested in, we can talk about that separately.
I would like to
I have,
confer with the board. So, okay. Got more?
I think that's all we had, yeah.
Was your, middle,
Oh, geez.
the first one, we're going to stand with that rejection.
You asked for policies
Mhm.
for that, so I have 4 ready for you. I can keep going if you like, but 2260, section 8,
Wait, 2260,
section 8,
okay,
3122.02,
say it again.
3122.02,
Okay,
3362, number 11, and 3122.7. There's more that should give you. They're all talking about retaliation.
all right, we will
Sure.
review those.
Sure.
Do you get them?
Numbers?
Did you get those policy?
Yeah, I
Okay.
remember that.
All right, we'll go move on.
Okay, this is the next resolution that we have. Regarding the holidays, we have the town proposal. Counter proposal, granting teacher 1 flex day instead of 2, to be determined by the principal.
And it's the reason why you went from 2 to 1? Okay. Yeah,
So you're forcing them to pick either Rosh Hashanah, I have to pick Rosh Hashanah or Yom Kippur, even though those are the two high holy days, or use a sick leave day.
We provide sick leave days.
Mhm.
Before we had none, right? Before we had none, now I'm giving you one.
All right, we'll talk about it as a team.
CTE. Language drafted to say that district career and technical education staff will work with the CTE teachers for procurement of quotes, processing of purchase orders of service supplies and equipment when using PIC money. Also, career and technical education district staff shall assist the CTE teachers concerning maintenance and repairs of related program equipment.
So I appreciate the counter here. I'm just wondering what this looks like in reality. So what would this look like? You know, because shall assist, shall work with. What does that look like? What does that mean to our CTE teachers?
So it's my belief, and I have spoke with Ms. Rutledge, Dr. Rutledge, Ms. Rutledge, she agreed that it's already happening, right? They are assisting, they're helping, they're giving all kinds of support to what this is saying, right? Is you telling me that's not happening,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So, okay, so now I have it in contract that it's going to happen. You got there and told me that's not happening, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, I'm gonna put it in contract now, so if it's not happening, you can file a grievance that we are not adhering to the contract.
All right. I think what you're saying makes sense, and we'll talk about it as a team.
Sure.
I think I skipped over one of your resubmissions, and I apologize, with regarding section C, schoolwork, work week planning time. Right, all members of the bargaining unit were not entitled to preparation time.
Yeah.
We're not reading.
Okay. So no response, not a rejection. Okay. Snap a picture of that and send it to Brown.
This is regarding your other resubmissions regarding CTE instructors and student interns, and we are rejecting that.
And why are you rejecting this? The point that Mr. Browd was trying to make is that essentially he's a classroom teacher, right? He has all the duties of a classroom teacher, a large lab to manage. He's responsible for industry testing. And now we're asking these folks to be in charge of these internships, and it's just too much. It's a whole nother job. So why are we rejecting this proposal?
Yeah.
That's fair. So I understand. Tracking, like I said, tracking time is looking at a timesheet, saying, yep, he was there all week. That's not requiring him to go to the place and verify. He gets, the student turns in a timesheet to the teacher goes, yep, check. I don't think that's asking too much of a teacher. That's no different than, and he sat there and told her, I don't even see these kids. So that's no different than me grading the paper, looking at it, yep, done. I go into the focus, check, done. Number two, that by DOE, he's got to be the teacher of record. Number three, CTE is available to assist, district staff is available to assist, as in the last one that we presented to you. Number four, the DOE requires the school
I'm sorry, you said 2 and 4 were the DOE required ones?
Right.
Especially for number 4, I'm gonna be really looking for verification that that is a DOE requirement.
Again, I discussed this with our CT director, right? So if I'm wrong, I will bring the CT director to the next market session.
So at what point does it become too much for the teacher? How many interns? Because we've also talked about this makes, unfortunately, them less eager to work on these internships because it is they're doing what a regular classroom teacher does as well, right? And more, lesson planning, teaching the lessons, industry testing, got them maintaining their shops, and now they're in charge of internships. And I will, well, you may not be aware of this. One of the talking points when we went out for millage was that some of that money was going to be used for career and technical education. So we can't just keep asking more and more of our career and technical education teachers without giving them the resources to do what they need to do. So I'd like to know, where is that additional money going? And I'm going to throw somebody under the bus right now. Our former secondary superintendent told me that she thought that all these folks with these large shops and kitchens and so on should have an assistant in every one of their rooms because it's too much to manage, or safety concerns. There's these extra duties. Fortunately, she didn't say that publicly while she was still an employee, but we know that to be true. So what's the response to that? Is that what you're going to be saying if you leave us in a couple months? Yeah, they should have got those things. But I'm not going to say that.
So, Mom, I don't know if I get fired.
Couple months.
I hear you. Like I said, I supervise a huge CTE program, and yes, we ask a lot of the CTE, without a doubt. Some more than others, and I have to address some because it covers the others, right? I just can't do the others because the ones that do the most work.
Mhm.
So I understand that. I hear your concern. We have a pretty large CTE support staff here at BSF. And if they are not doing their job, we can readdress this at another bargaining session. I believe that they are going to be receiving the support needed.
So, and I think when we have situations like this, and we've talked about it before, all of the contract language we have brought to you has been brought to us by our membership. So these are concern-based language pieces. Like, we didn't sit up in the office and make up all of this stuff just so that we had something to bring to the table. And the teacher who, was at the end of the table explaining, I would say he is probably, one of the best that we've got. His kids are, they get their ASE certification. They are working in dealerships, getting jobs that people couldn't, we are really pushing, he's pushing his students to be successful in the career world, even before they graduate. So while I hear you that there are staff here, I don't want, and he could very well go probably to any dealership,
I understand.
and they would probably pay him worlds better than we're paying him now. And, we couldn't fill the HVAC position at Space Coast for the longest time because you can make way more in HVAC outside of here. And so if we don't come up with solutions that are going to lighten their workload while still allowing them to produce students who are ready, workforce ready, which is what our community wants, we're going to start losing our CTE teachers. And so they can say that they do all of this all they want, but obviously there's a breakdown somewhere.
Right.
And I know there used to be, and of course this is probably going to date me, so I won't say the years, but we had, OJT is not a new concept,
Correct.
right? So I know the students who did OJT say when I was in school, there was one person they answered to, right? So why is each CTE teacher being responsible for their own? Like, why isn't there a more centralized system? Because what we should really be looking at, and I think this is what they attempted to do, because this was a group of teachers that came up with this language.
Sure.
What they're attempting to do is the things that you can centralize them, right? So it's not that he doesn't want to not interact with his kids or not, he is a fantastic teacher. You should go visit his classroom. It's amazing. It's at Heritage High School. It is absolutely amazing.
I'm a fan.
So, when I look at stuff like this, I want to know, okay, if we're full on rejecting this, and I don't know if this is a response from Rachel Rutledge and her team, but I want to know what specifically Rachel Rutledge and her team is doing that makes this language moot.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure. I'd be more than happy to set up a meeting with you and her.
We've had those meetings
Yeah, we've had
already.
those. That's the problem. We've had those meetings. So I know it's
So-
really
so-
easy for people to tell you things
Yeah.
exist,
Yeah.
but the people, and no offense, the people I'm going to believe more often than not are the ones in the trenches.
I get that.
So
I get that. So,
spending their last day before they go back to work here,
Right,
right.
no, I understand what you're saying. Like I said, I am a huge proponent of CTE programs. I believe not all kids are gonna be college bound, and we need to make them workforce ready and be able to positively support our community, absolutely, right? So I agree with what you're saying, right? Why this is being rejected is, again, back to my earlier comment of, I have it in contract now. If it's not happening, right? If our team is failing our teachers out there, I want to know about it. Okay? And some of these is required by DOE, so I just plain simply can't do it. Some teachers have 2 interns, right? So you tell me you can't look at 2 timesheets and put it in a grade book?
There's more to it than that,
No, I understand, right? But I'm talking about the whole concept. So what I'm saying is this year, BPS is going to reject this. I'm not saying shove it in my face next year.
Well, let me ask you this,
Yeah.
for discussion.
Yeah.
We've previously asked for these CTE teachers with interns and so on to have 1 or 2 days per semester to work on this kind of stuff,
Sure.
which is not unprecedented in the district in other areas.
Okay.
Like we have math teachers who write IEPs. They were given a day each semester to work on those IEPs. Would that be something you'd be willing to talk about? Would be giving them?
So I don't know a lot about what you're saying.
Okay.
Who else does it? Blah, blah, blah. My first question is, what happens to those students while the teachers are there?
There would be a sub.
Right. So that might be a conversation to have. I just don't have enough knowledge on it to say
Okay.
yes or no.
I'm putting that out in the
In the
universe.
Sure.
Yep.
I appreciate that. And perhaps, that's best I can tell you is perhaps.
Okay.
I'm not saying no to it, but I need to learn more about it.
Okay.
I don't want to talk ignorantly about something I have no idea what I'm talking about. Fair enough.
So some of these things are specifically, you're saying district or members are already supposed to be doing these things, right?
Like number 3, right? Yeah, the CTE should be assisting. The CTE district staff personnel should be assisting. Yes.
Okay, so then it's not out of line for 3 to be added to the contract where it's, since
Well, that
district
goes back to,
they shall not be responsible for number 3.
No. I want them to be, no.
Because if district's supposed to be responsible.
No, not
for it,
responsible, I
then
said assist.
assist. Okay,
right?
so
So I'm gonna help you out, right? If you need, let's say.
they
I don't know, I'm
are
at-
expected to, at some point, to
So-
go to onsite.
So right, so let's say I need to go on site, I need gentleman over here has to go on site, but I can't today. I need it done,
site for me today to get this done. That kind of stuff should be happening. If it's not, I want to know about it.
All right, let's move on.
And you resubmitted the differentiated pay plan number 8 for the performance speech language pathologist. We're not ready to respond to that today.
And wait, and number 7, you said you weren't ready for as well, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And then also the differentiated pay plan, pay for performance supplements for the PBAs, occupational physical therapists. We're not prepared to respond to that one today.
Could I ask a favor?
Mhm.
When you do changes, could you do the track changes? Because it makes it very easier for us to adjust these.
I will try.
You just, instead of her cutting and pasting, doing anything.
Yeah.
It's already tracked, you know what I mean?
This is a counter to a proposal that you submitted on March 23rd regarding the bereavement leave and the PPL leave. We are countering that we will accept the 5 days of bereavement leave, and we are offering 15 days of paid parental leave.
All right, we are going to agree to that. And just so members understand, although this won't go in effect until the contract is ratified, they will receive, it'll be corrected after the contract is ratified. Let's say we don't ratify till the end of September. It would, and they had a bereavement leave incident in August, they would get those additional days back after it's corrected.
Retroactively.
Retroactively, thank you.
This is a counter offer to the proposal that we submitted on July 17th regarding Section G assignments and transfers, voluntary transfers school to school. We have submitted a counter offer to this, coinciding that it also goes along with the Coach K rule.
Hold on a second. I'm very confused. Can you just say what you just said?
So this counter offer that we just passed goes along with the acceptance of the Coach K.
Listen, you guys are not bargaining in good faith. Those proposals are completely unrelated. That is bad faith bargaining. That is bad faith bargaining. And Mr. Dufresne, you know that's bad faith bargaining. That's completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. That's bad faith bargaining right there. In no way, shape, or form are those things related. I mean, that's not negotiations. That's not negotiating. You know that to be true. You're going to continue with the bad faith bargaining, or can we look at this proposal on its own?
We presented what you're instructed. If you reject it, you reject it.
Okay.
We'll move on.
Okay, so the school board instructed you to tie the Coach K proposal to the transfer language. I just want to clarify.
This is our proposal. It's in good faith that we want to work with you with this, but we also need you to work with us on the other.
They are not related whatsoever. That's like me saying, you give us a $10,000 raise or we're not considering anything this year. Is that how this is going to go?
No,
Hey guys, we're not going to consider anything unless they give us a $10,000 raise. Listen to what that sounds like. That sounds like BS, and you know it because you know that's bad faith bargaining. And I'm afraid you've just stepped over a line. And you've made a decision to do so. You've made a decision to do so. This was supposed to be different tone today and different negotiations. We barely,
Well, and-
barely, okay? This is unacceptable. We either look at this proposal on its own and we bargain as it should, or we do have a major issue. I just want you to listen to how that sounds. We're not agreeing to anything unless you give us a $10,000 raise this year. Does that sound right to anybody? No, because you know that's not right. That is not how you bargain. You've crossed the line.
And I just want to throw this out there. The transfer issue it's a mutual issue. It is, it costs the district. In fact, I would be interested to see how much man hours, how much money it costs. Again, because we have an annual contract workforce through no fault of either side, that was put onto us by the state. But the transfer issue is not our issue or your issue, it's a both of our issues. So, I mean, first of all, tying it together is just, that's not good faith. It just isn't good faith bargaining, but it also doesn't make sense for, I think a common goal is to streamline things, processes that take forever and don't make sense. The transfer is one of those, especially since basically there is no, the annual contract legislation has created a non-loyal workforce. That's what it's created. And so we all have to deal with that. Both sides of us have to deal with that. And so honestly, to not have a process put in place when the teacher can quit tomorrow and get hired somewhere else, and we're not in the position to tell them no, because I don't know, I think there's more schools not fully hired than there are that are fully hired. But so it's disappointing to see, one, for the bad faith bargaining. That's the most disappointing. Then a concept that I thought was truly mutual, to try to solve a pretty big issue. So this is, yeah.
So I just want to be clear. This is what you're sticking to. This proposal is tied to the coaching proposal that you guys lost 3 arbitrations on.
Is that true? I don't know. if
Yes,
that's-
that
is
is
true.
absolutely true.
Um,
You know what? I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to do you a favor. We're going to caucus.
Okay.
When we get back, in 15 minutes, why don't you give me an answer to that?